Hello, I'm Diane Birnholz. How are Mark Sanchez's lawyers going to defend his case, which now includes a felony battery charge and 3 misdemeanor charges? They can't claim mistaken identity. There's really no dispute as to who was involved here, plus it's all on video. So a common defense to a charge of battery would be self-defense, and that would involve proving that Perry Toll, the truck driver, was the aggressor here, not Sanchez. Under Indiana law, a person is justified in using reasonable force and using self-defense to protect themselves from what that person believes to be the imminent threat of unlawful force. So how likely would Mark Sanchez be in prevailing on a self-defense claim before a jury? Well, I've read the amended criminal information. That's what the charging document is called, and that's what I'm relying on here. And according to the affidavit for probable cause, Perry Toll was in his employer's truck in an alleyway in downtown Indianapolis after midnight on October 4, 2025. And the video is from the Marriott downtown Indianapolis, which looks out onto this alley. And Toll was there working for his company. It recycles and disposes of commercial cooking oil. It's where he works. And he had backed up the truck to the loading dock at the Westin Hotel, which was also on the alley. So he's in the middle of working and dealing with this oil when Mark Sanchez comes up and opens the driver's door of the truck. And then an altercation begins. The affidavit says Mr. Sanchez is seen running after PT, that's Toll, and the video shows Mr. Sanchez grabbing and throwing PT towards the wall of the Westin. The affidavit says the two were fighting and that Mr. Sanchez is then seen throwing PT to the ground in the alley. Toll stands up and Sanchez is still standing there over him before Sanchez runs away. So the police want to get to the bottom of this. They interview Toll in the hospital, and Toll's statement matches what they see in the video. He says that Sanchez opened the truck door and claimed that he'd been talking to the hotel manager and that Toll wasn't supposed to be parked there. Toll didn't have his hearing aids in and the truck was really loud. So at first he thought that Sanchez was the hotel manager, but then he quickly realizes that this was a drunk stranger and he was not the manager. Sanchez ends up getting in the truck and Toll tells him, get out, he's not allowed in there, and he's trying to get his cell phone to call the actual manager, but Sanchez is blocking him, and this is getting more physical and escalating, so Toll grabs his pepper spray and sprays Sanchez in the face, but that still doesn't stop him, and Toll thought, this guy is trying to kill me. So at that point, he pulled out his knife, and then when Sanchez came at him repeatedly, Toll was stabbing him, and it happened more than once. And at this point, Toll's on the ground and scared for his life, he says, with Sanchez over him. Hospital photos and reports show that Toll has a major laceration to his left cheek, which apparently goes all the way through into his mouth. And that's why the state is alleging that this attack resulted in extreme pain and serious bodily injury for him. Meanwhile, police find Sanchez at the nearby pub. He's been stabbed, and in his statement, he says that he can't remember what happened, and that all he could remember was grabbing a window, and he reportedly smells of alcohol. Okay, so given all these facts, a self-defense claim seems like a big uphill battle. All right, first of all, Toll had every reason to be there. He was working, and Sanchez was weaving up on foot in the alley, and he had no business there. And indeed, Toll is the one who was apparently acting in self-defense. And that's why he has not been charged with any crimes here for stabbing Sanchez. He started out defending himself with pepper spray, but then when the attack continued and escalated, he then escalated his self-defense to the use of a knife. And that seems reasonable. Then we also want to look at their physical abilities relative to each other. Sanchez is 6'2", and he's in the 225 to 230 pound range. He's 38 years old. He was a professional athlete. He was a quarterback in the NFL for 10 years. So he's 30 years younger than Toll, who's 69 and was never a professional athlete. He's a guy trying to recycle cooking oil in an alley behind a hotel, and this is what he has to deal with. So self-defense doesn't seem very likely for Sanchez, but what about extreme intoxication? Is that a defense to battery? Can Sanchez get off by claiming that he had no idea what he was doing? Stay tuned for my next video. Thank you very much.